Hi, welcome to the Talk Spot. This is Marcus, and today I'm joined by Dr. John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And today we're going to be talking about relationships during the coronavirus pandemic. But before we get started, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
You know, sometimes finding yourself starts right in your own backyard. Moorpark College will help you get back to work at a career you love. I found it, my dream job in biotechnology. I learned the skills that changed my life in just 1 year. Now I'm doing what I love and making more money than ever. Enroll now and follow your dream. I found it. So can you at moorparkcollege.edu/CE.
So since the last time we spoke, I mean, there's been numerous things that have taken place, but probably the biggest one is the whole, coronavirus pandemic that has happened. How has this had an impact on relationships?
Well, what we hear the reports, violence between men and women at home is increasing. Suicides are increasing. Stress levels are dramatically up. Sleeping pills are up. Antidepressants are up. Anxiety pills are up. People are stressed out. And that shows up as arguments and fights and decisions to get divorced. You know, when the first lockdown happened, divorce rates dramatically went up. It was most dramatic we saw in China when it all happened. After people could get out of their houses again, they went straight to get divorces. So divorce rates are skyrocketing. And one of the problems is that when you're not getting what you need in a relationship, you have a stress reaction. Stress reaction is an increase of the stress hormone, cortisol. And when that happens, when that occurs, blood flow stops to the part of the brain that's reasonable. And it goes to a reactive part of the brain, which, brain scientists call the monkey part of the brain. Literally, it's got the DNA of monkeys, and it's completely a conditioned response, like a pinball machine. You complain to me, I complain back to you, and that escalates until we say things that in that moment seem logical, but they're not. Things like, well, if you can't be happy in this relationship, we should just forget it. I mean, why should we be in it? We should get a divorce. Or somebody might say, well, you never really loved me anytime. You never cared about me. I don't even know if I fell in love with you. We should get a divorce. Because you see, when you're in those moments of stress reaction, you can't access the positive memories. You can't. You're going to, at least in certain reactions, you can only you only see negativity. And this is, for many, many people, a very devastating time for them. Now, for other people, it's not. One of my daughters has 2 children. Her husband can work on the computer. She has a catering business, and so she's not doing her business, but her husband can make enough money for her. So suddenly they become like a traditional old-fashioned relationship where the man makes the money and the woman stays home to take care of the kids. And the kids are like at that age of junior high school. And usually that's the time where the kids just completely separate from their parents, and disidentify, pull away. But because they have such a happy family and good communication and lots of love, they're just having the time of their life. And ironically, for the boy, his grades have dramatically gone up. And for the girl, it took a little bit of adjustment, but now her grades have gone up again. She was always doing the good grades, but now she's also making the good grades. And the dynamic is such that for boys, doing your homework on computers is actually sometimes easier if you have more of the traditional ADD type symptoms. If you're sitting in a classroom and you don't feel free to get up, your stress levels increase, and that increases ADD type symptoms. But if you're sitting in front of a computer screen feeling free to do it or not do it, you're on your own, that actually stimulates better hormones than a male in a classroom where there's a teacher looking at you. That's also very interesting, just like you can be on a video game and totally be into it. Because it stimulates higher levels of dopamine. And being in a classroom with other people often puts stressful pressures of performance and behaving a certain way and looking a certain way. Whereas girls, if they feel somewhat supported by their friends, actually thrive in a classroom because they feel surrounded by support. If she doesn't feel surrounded by support, it's not so great for her. But usually girls will have their little groups and they feel that support. And boys need to have a sense of freedom. And when I'm talking about these differences between men and women, it's really helpful because, people think, modern people think that men and women aren't that different. Teenager boys or teenage girls aren't that different, but actually we're extremely different on a hormonal level. And there are some girls that developed a male brain, and yet they have a female hormone system. So they're kind of unhappy all the time. And there's boys who developed a female brain. Conditioning can affect your brain, but it doesn't affect your whole biological effects that come from the instinctive part of the brain. That's taken hundreds of thousands of years to develop. This is evolution. Then we have more the monkey brain, which is monkey see, monkey do. So a lot of that is conditioning. And then we have the human part of the brain, which we really have the ability to change our destiny. We have ability to not react. You have a reaction, but you don't have to act on that reaction. You're able to explore what your reaction is and make a choice to decide on a better action. And that's only if your body is not making cortisol. If your body's making cortisol, you really can't access that part of the brain. And if, due to conditioning can change the monkey brain, and that's called brain plasticity. And brain plasticity, if you have like a stroke, just understand the power of it. And you can't move your right arm and your right hand because of that stroke. That means part of your brain died. Not enough oxygen got to that part of the brain that controls the right arm. And you'll never move that arm and use that hand again. But now new science has shown that you can trick the brain into thinking a certain way. And in 6 months, you can get back the use of your hand and arm, which is like a miracle. But it takes deliberate effort to fool the brain. And the way you fool the brain is you have your left hand, let's say your right hand doesn't work. You put your left hand on a table and put your right hand on the other side, but you really don't put your right hand there. You put a mirror there. So the brain actually sees the right hand as a reflection of the left. And you just keep moving both hands, and the brain starts developing new neural pathways to move your right hand. It's absolutely miraculous. What you do, what you think, how you react, all triggers these pathways in the brain. And if, for example, you complain, if you're a guy and you get all upset and you complain in order to get what you want, have somebody change their behavior, here's what happens. And it happens even stronger in women. But if you complain to get what you want, your brain goes, okay, use negative emotions, use dissatisfaction to get what you want. Then every time you don't feel you're getting what you want, you're going to have more dissatisfaction, more negative emotions. And unless you retrain your brain not to use negativity to get what you want. It's an amazing, amazing insight.
No, that definitely is. And one thing I kind of wanted to, ask about was I think that there was a perception when the lockdowns, when they first started happening in the quarantine, that married couples or couples that live together were going to just be, I don't know, for lack of a better term, kind of having a lot of sex, and we were going to see a big baby boom. I remember some of that talk was, in the media, and I don't really know if I've seen a big boom of pregnant women walking around. I mean, at this point...
No. There's going to be no boom for pregnancy, that's for sure. Couples are having less sex, no sex. They're too unhappy. They're too stressed. You can't, see, if you're a woman, you can't feel the desire for sex if you have cortisol being produced. What happens in sex for girls and women is estrogen levels have to go higher. For her to enjoy sex the estrogen levels have to double. And if a woman doesn't feel safe, loved, supported, nurtured, then what happens if she doesn't feel safe is her estrogen levels can't go to that high level to where they actually feel strong attraction to a man. Now, a woman can, for example, in the beginning of a relationship, feel that strong attraction. merely because she doesn't know her partner. When you don't know your partner, fantasy takes over. So yeah, if you're willing to go out with a guy, it's because a part of you thinks maybe he's the one, or maybe he can provide something for me that would make me feel happy. I mean, because nobody decides to go on a date because you anticipate this guy's going to make you feel awful.
Well, I'd hope not.
So there's a fantasy there. It's like trying to guess the stock market. It's fantasy. You can't just guess. It's like gambling. But the brain just goes, okay, if you're going on a date, you're anticipating getting what you need, so your estrogen levels will go up. But all it takes is 5 or 10 dates, and your body goes, well, I didn't actually get what I needed or wanted. So then the attraction goes away. And we're talking about couples who are living together. Well, they've already gone through that stage where they can't fantasize things are going to be really great. So when things are bad, it just gets worse. That's why so many people, and I'm in a different generation from you, up at close to my 70s, but in your generation, sex drive actually has dramatically diminished in married couples. You ask around for couples, how often do you have sex? And they say maybe once a month. And if it's once a month, it's not like this exciting, great thing. It's kind of like we have to keep up with the neighbors and just do it. So many women report that they don't enjoy sex. There's many women report that, married women here, that they don't have orgasms. They don't experience a desire to have sex with their husbands. They do it because they should do it. And that's not what we signed up for in the beginning,
No, I don't think so.
No. And let me tell you the difference between your generation guy, and mine as well. Well, maybe a little bit younger than me, although I'm kind of in a younger generation. Somehow I stay like 35 years old. I have the testosterone levels 50% higher of a 30-year-old. So it just hasn't happened to me. Your average male today, though, his testosterone levels start dropping at 35, going down. But now we have a new statistic is that 18-year-old, 19-year-old guys around 21 are having low testosterone. They're actually becoming impotent when it comes to having sex with a girl they care about. If they don't care about her, or she's a fantasy woman like internet porn, looking at a magazine, if you don't care about her, then you can get an erection. You can get all excited. But if you actually get to know her, have a relationship with her, your testosterone levels go too low to even get an erection, much less have great sex where you have strong performance. That's all about testosterone. So many men today have premature ejaculation, and that's a real common thing. That's coming, within 1 or 2 minutes. And not that that's a terrible thing. I mean, you enjoy yourself, but the reality there is that women need a lot more stimulation if they're going to go to higher and higher levels. But at the same time, for a guy to not have premature ejaculation, getting close to a woman he cares about, he must feel that she appreciates him dramatically. You see, when women feel appreciation for a guy, women's estrogen levels go high when you feel appreciation. And when a man feels appreciated, his testosterone levels go high. If she's really enjoying sex, that means she's appreciating him. His testosterone levels will stay up longer, and so he doesn't premature ejaculate. And she gets to go to higher levels of estrogen. He gets to go to higher levels of testosterone. You see, it's kind of like the chicken or egg phenomena. Does he raise her estrogen, or does her estrogen raise his testosterone? And if her estrogen isn't strong enough to raise his testosterone, if he's a more balanced guy, more sensitive, more caring, he'll premature ejaculate. If he's a guy, which you'll see in these, what are they called, porn shows, you'll see certain guys who can last a long time. Well, sometimes they're just having taken Viagra. But many of them, there is a condition in psychology where a man can't have an ejaculation. And that's because he can't generate enough estrogen in his body because he's so shut down to his emotions. But particularly anybody watching your show is not shut down to their emotions, because being in touch with your emotions creates a sense of, I need to learn, I need to education. I need personal growth. I need transformation. I want to be in a relationship. So you see a lot of these porn guys I don't know all the details of all of them, but I know that for many, they have that challenge where they can't ejaculate, which is often why in the porn videos, they want to show the cum shot. They actually can ejaculate, which is very funny. And like said, some kind of dramatic thing. But actually, it's for the women, because women think, oh, if he ejaculates, that means he loves me. Because on some deep level, on a primitive level, that means he has enough estrogen in his body, and estrogen is love and pleasure and happiness. That means he's happy and pleasurable with her, that he was able to have that ejaculation. But men today have way too much estrogen. For example, anger. Anger is another thing that's come up a lot during the COVID time, as opposed to in relationships. When a man's angry with his partner, grumpy with his partner, feeling smothered by his partner, feeling annoyed by his partner, feeling resentful of his partner, when we feel these things as men, what we have to do is an awareness check. What is actually occurring in our biology is that we're just out of balance. It has nothing to do with the outer world. The outer world and how we interpret the outer world does trigger our hormones, but what actually makes us feel anger or defensive or argumentative or uncomfortable, these are hormonal experiences in our body. You feel it in your body. What's going on in your body is every time it's a man's low testosterone, high estrogen. So what he has to do is recognize whatever you're thinking when you're having negative feelings, men, is you're wrong. And whatever she's thinking when she has negative feelings, she's wrong. These are inaccurate messages. It's kind of like fake news that you're giving. Your brain is giving fake news to your body that you're in danger. You're in a stress.
Wait, so you mentioned something that I kind of wanted to follow up with you a little bit about. And you talked about this idea that, so when a man doesn't have enough testosterone, or he has too much estrogen, he'll, for lack of a better term, he'll come quicker. He'll, like you said, last a minute or two, and then it's basically it for that. But for the men that, let's say they are able to last for a while, let's say they enjoy doing sexual things, maybe, with their wife or their partner or whatever, for, I don't know, an hour or a couple hours.
Well, is it sexual things or is it actual penetration?
Well, okay. Well, let's say
premature ejaculation is referred to not doing sexual things, but actually doing penetration for beyond 2 minutes.
Well, I guess what I was just meaning is like this idea about men not being able to come. So the men that, let's say they...
Oh, okay. We'll go there.
Yeah, with the penetration, let's say that's, going for however many minutes, but for whatever reason, they're not able to, come inside of a woman. Is this a common occurrence?
No, it's like a bell curve. And the bell curve, they're at the very far end of the bell curve of those who can't ejaculate, and that's a medical condition, although I see it as an emotional issue condition. And then there's the other end of the bell curve, which is where you ejaculate before even during the foreplay, in the very beginning of foreplay. She takes off her clothes and you ejaculate. That would be on the other side of it. And I've had that happen to me. Okay, so I mean, I've learned how to last as long as I want in the bedroom with penetration. Even tested it for hours and hours. And the thing about it is, when you can do that and feel love and affection, this is somebody you care about, you love, and last long in the vagina, it will bring a woman's estrogen levels higher than she could ever imagine going on her own, going beyond her imagination. And it's very, very nourishing to both her and him to be able to have the vaginal stimulation. Because so many people, so many women had never had a vaginal orgasm. For many years, they all said that was a myth. Freud came out and said that clitoral orgasm was immature orgasm and vaginal orgasm was mature orgasm. Now, having said that, then there was a big battle. And I mean, they're both orgasms. And what the Taoist sexology teaches is, and my own experience as well, is that the orgasm on the clitoris is a much different type of orgasm a woman can have through penetration, but it usually opens up. One orgasm of the clitoris then opens up what's called the G-spot to take her to another orgasm. G-spot is on the inside of the vagina where your penis would push when you're penetrating. It's right on the other side of the clitoris. And as she's aroused, experiencing massive arousal, or even a clitoris orgasm, then around that time, the G-spot literally comes up. It's about the size of a quarter, and it elevates, a tiny bit where you can feel it has a roughness on it that's different from the other smoothness. That needs to be pushed and stimulated again and again, and that will cause another kind of orgasm. And then beyond that is the E-spot that doesn't show up until the G-spot has an orgasm. And then there's what's called the C-spot, and that's her cervix. Her cervix, and they've actually filmed this. The cervix will come down. It will actually reach down to touch the top of his penis, and that creates orgasmic thrill. So those are 4 different levels of orgasm that we would think of as orgasm in a woman. But a woman will never even get close to that without a penis staying hard long enough for her to get there. Now, some women could get there in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Some women, it'll take an hour or 2. And in my own experience, it can take an hour or 2 if the woman is somewhat stressed to begin with. But if you're having regular sex and she doesn't feel stressed in her life, or she has good personal relationship to keep her stress levels down, then she can get faster to that point. So you don't have to take 2 hours, to have her experience maximum fulfillment. There is such a thing as maximum fulfillment for couples who live happily in love with a great sex life, and couples who don't end up getting divorced. Now, not that they have to have that high of a sex life, because this is a new expectation and requirement of our modern life. In my generation, a lot of the people, they didn't really care about lasting passion. But your generation does. I teach around the world. Everybody, under 50, you say to them, okay, what is it that you're looking for in your relationships that I can help you with, if I can help you with anything? And we do votes. And there's a lot of things, but basically it's how to keep the passion alive. And keeping the passion alive has a lot to do with the other things people are talking about, which is make up, avoid arguments, improve communication, how to make up after an argument, how to keep the hormones, my terminology, the hormones, but how to keep the passion going, how much time to spend together, how much time to feel apart, how to not get your feelings hurt, how to deal with your stressful emotions. This is all, a seemingly complex thing, but once you learn it, it's not hard at all. It's just like learning a new software. Recently during COVID, I'm learning the stock market. I've read several books on it now, whatever. In the beginning, oh my God, the terms and the concepts, it was so tricky. But, there's a learning curve, and then suddenly it becomes very easy. You understand the whole thing, and you know how to use it, and you know how to make money with it, and never lose money. It's amazing. But very few people get to that place because they don't take the classes and study it and learn it. The traders do. They make tons of money. There's so many millionaires on Wall Street because they figured out the system. Well, what I did is over the last 35 years is figured out the system of how to keep passion alive in a relationship. And it's not hard once you learn how to do it.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to, a commentary about something you said is that it sounds like for the female orgasm, it sounds like the movie Inception. There's 4 layers to it. But I guess one thing, and I'm not married and I don't live with a woman or anything. I've been in relationships, but nothing super long term. I guess one thing that I would ask for, let's say, couples that have been, let's say they're younger-ish, they're younger than 35. Yeah. And they've been married for a while. For a man and wife in that situation, what do you say if there is something where they've been married for 5 years and they don't have sex regularly and they don't have a lot of, physical intimacy between the two of them, or they're not very much, sexually active between each other? What would be some of the pieces of advice you would give a couple like that? Yeah,
it's such a profound, very important question. And the information I'm going to give you, I think it'll take 5 minutes and you'll know how to keep it alive. But you have to, it's kind of like you're addicted to a drug, and I say, well, if you want to be happy again, you have to give up the drug. Now, I have to give you the information of why you're on a drug. All right, so let's just first explore this. We know biologically for men to be attracted to a woman and sustain that attraction, his testosterone levels have to be, when you have an erection, your testosterone levels go very high. So you're turned on, your testosterone levels are going up and your estrogen levels are going up, but not as much. Okay? That's, to make this simple, I don't want to use complex terms maybe some people aren't familiar with. There's something, testosterone needs to be, just to be happy. A man who is happy and with energy, we'll call that normal. A normal, happy, fulfilled man must have at least 10 times more testosterone than a woman. Do you understand that? Now, when you're putting yourself in situations where you feel successful, increases testosterone. Putting yourself in situations where you feel not successful lowers your testosterone. This is also proven. Now, for women, estrogen levels, a happy woman always has at least 10 times more estrogen than a man. Okay, so here's our big difference. And relationships where a woman feels I can depend on someone and get what I need raises estrogen. For men, it's success, and for women, it's feeling quality relationship where I get what I need. So you have, and that's love, basically. You feel someone gives you what you need, you feel love, you feel happy. So when women feel loved or are loving, either one, when they're feeling loved, their estrogen's going up in response to what somebody does. You know, a woman might say, oh, I love my husband, but I'm really mad at him. No, you may love him, but you're not feeling love right now. Your estrogen levels are very low. Okay, so basically when women are happy, their estrogen levels are 10 times higher than a man. When a man is happy, his testosterone levels are 10 times higher than a woman. Now, just for ease and simplicity in our conversation here, I'm going to call testosterone male energy and estrogen female energy. Is that okay? We'll do that.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, yeah, very simple. So, I mean, some people think when you're saying energy, what do you mean? How can you measure it? You can measure it with these hormones, okay? But it's easier for people to comprehend what I'm about to say, is male energy and female energy. So when you're starting out in a relationship and you're a man, your male energy goes up because you're anticipating success. And a woman's female energy goes up because she's anticipating getting what she needs. All right? So what do women need? They need to feel affection. They need to feel kindness. They need to feel good manners from a man, interest, attentiveness, understanding, and caring. These are basic things she's anticipating she's going to get. And he's going to anticipate her smiling and appreciating him and thinking he's wonderful and being happy to see him because he's so amazing, where he feels appreciated and trusted and accepted just the way he is. So if he anticipates that, his testosterone goes up. If she anticipates getting what she needs, her estrogen goes up. Then what happens is she doesn't get what she needs, and therefore it's kind of like he invested himself in her and he didn't get paid. So his testosterone levels go down. He tried and it didn't work, and she tried, being loving, and he didn't seem to love her more. So she holds back from being as loving as before. So their hormones go down. So here's a practical technique couples can do. This is very practical. I have so many in my book, Beyond Mars and Venus. There's lots and lots of things to do. And men are from Mars, women are from Venus. There's lots of things to do. But here's something in a short interview that's very powerful once you understand this Mars-Venus stuff. You play a game, and it's called Genie in the Bottle. Genie in the Bottle, he is the genie, and she holds the lamp or the bottle. If she rubs on the bottle, the genie comes out. Now, what is rubbing on the bottle? Rubbing on the bottle is asking for help. So for 20 minutes, she's not allowed to do anything for herself, so she needs and depends on him. And so in the game, she can't do anything for herself, but she can ask for anything she wants, and he will provide within 20 minutes. So she could say, would you give me a foot massage? He said, oh, I'm so happy to. He's the genie. This is his thing. But he has infinite wishes that he can fulfill. but only in that 20 minutes, only what he can do. So she makes a request, massage my feet. Happy to. Oh, run and get the oil. He'll run with a smile, just like you're a maitre d' in a fancy restaurant. What can I do, Dr. Gray? It's welcome to see you again. So happy to provide what you want. Here's a free appetizer. Are you getting first class on an airplane? It's, with those lying down beds and everything. You get your own cabin. They'll come in and say, anything you want. I'm happy to make the bed when you're done watching your movie. You can have appetizers and meals whenever you want. We've got a great menu. Is there any wine that you would like? They offer you the world, okay? I just get on those planes and fall asleep. I don't need anything. But bottom line is you have that attitude of as you wish, as you wish. Did you see the movie Princess Bride?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember what he said always, and she fell in love with him? He'd always say, as you wish, as you wish, as you wish. Because that's what makes women feel, oh, I'm safe and I can ask for help and get it. We see the problem for women today is they're so tough often, some are, that they don't know they need help, and they don't know how to identify that help, and they don't know how to ask for that help. And so in this game, it forces her to feel that place of powerlessness and depending on him. And we're not talking all the time. This is just 20 minutes. And during that time, he's happy to respond to her and give her what she wants. In the beginning, you might even have to fake it, where she goes, oh, well, thank you so much. That's so delightful. And he said, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to do it right away. But biologically, you see, the limbic system of the brain doesn't know that you're faking it. It just knows you need help, and he's doing it. And he knows she needs my help, and I'm solving her problem just like that. And so you do this for 20 minutes. I think all couples should do this every day, if you're not having regular sex. And you can do it just for fun. People are loving this. And I invented this during COVID because they really needed something to help balance their hormones, and it's working really, really great. Because every time he does something for her, little or big, doesn't matter, his testosterone takes another notch up. And every time she asks for something, her estrogen levels go up if she gets a positive response from him. So what happens is what you can ruin this game by not following the rules. Those are the rules, but this is what some women will do, not understanding the rules. Is while she says, oh, I want you, John, wash those dishes over there. And he says, sure, be happy to. And he washes the dishes very quickly. And then she says, look how beautiful everything looks. Isn't that nice? And he says, yes, your wish is my command. He says, so my wish is for you to always remember to do that and not forget. That is out of bounds. That now suddenly becomes the future, the past, or whatever. You stay right within that 20-minute window, because he can say, yeah, I'll do that, but you don't get your response until you do it. This is training a man, besides pumping up his testosterone and pumping up her estrogen, that will happen, and lowering their stress. What will also happen is he's learning something very important that most men don't know, is that little things have the same effect on estrogen levels as big things. So I can make $1 million. If my wife's estrogen levels are low, it doesn't mean much. I could make $1 million if she has normal estrogen. She's happy. She'll become happier that day. But I didn't have to make $1 million. If she has normal estrogen levels and I bring her a rose, she'll have the same happier feeling. She's so happy. She could get 50 roses. If she's happy, it will cause a surge in estrogen. I can give her 1 rose, and it'll cause almost the same surge of estrogen. So this is the biological foundation of an idea that I talked about in Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, is that men don't realize that for a woman, every act of love is equal to every other act of love, big or small. So women need to feel loved, a lot of little expressions of love, because you can't do a lot of big expressions of love. You can only do so much. And ironically, think about the dating situation. Often a man will do lots of little things because he's not willing to do big stuff. You're not willing to be monogamous. You're not willing to share your income with her. You're not willing to marry her. These are the big things, right? So in dating, we only do the little stuff, but then we men make the mistake of thinking, well, now that I'm giving you the big stuff, what's small change? That doesn't make a difference at all. So that's the whole dynamic here, is that we as men fail to recognize the importance of doing little things for women, and women fail to understand what makes men feel really good. One of those things is you're dating him, you're not living with him, right? You're not living with him. So he has time apart from you where he can do whatever he wants and nobody's looking at him, disapproving of him, correcting him, or telling him what to do. He's got his own apartment. It can be all messy, whatever. If she comes over, I remember when I was a single guy, I had a messy sink and messy apartment. And then if I was going to bring a girl home that night, I would clean it all up, So she comes in and she goes, oh, look at this. He's neat, he's organized, he's interested, he's attentive. But that's because he lives separately from her. And also what men need in order to rebuild testosterone levels is to be alone. Like right now, you said you're a single guy and you're alone. This could be the best time of your life. You see, during my age, part of my foundation of success in my life, that it's my advantage over other men due to choices I made, is from age 18 to 28, I was a celibate monk. Now, what a celibate monk means is that I have massive discipline, which is I used to have 1 cup of food a day. I still just have 1 meal a day, generally speaking. So my weight is always the ideal place. My testosterone levels are 50% higher because anytime you don't depend on things to make you happy, but depend on yourself and your actions to make you happy, your testosterone levels go up. I didn't masturbate that whole time. I mean, I was a real monk. I never met another real monk, actually. You can smell a real monk because if he doesn't ejaculate, then his semen permeates the body and brain, and you can smell it on him. With me, when I would perspire, you'd smell semen. And that's because I never released semen for 9 years. I rarely released it during my marriage with Bonnie. I don't release it now, only rarely. And what people don't know, what young men don't know, is that when you're masturbating to porn, every time your testosterone levels go down. So back to what advice for couples, if you want to bring back the passion in your marriage, is have sex once a week. And when you have sex, do it in such a way that if she doesn't have an orgasm, he doesn't ejaculate. Now, that's a lot of discipline, might be too much for some couples, but that's how you do it. You have to realize that men who masturbate are addicted to masturbation. And also, if you're married, you could become addicted to too much sex just because there's a pressure to have sex in our society. I remember when I was first married to my wife, after a while I was having sex once a week. And everybody was always saying, how often do you have sex? If I said once a week, people were like, well, why not more? What's wrong with you? And so I remember one guy, he said to me, he was a lawyer in my men's group. And I said, yeah, I have sex about once a week. And it's great. And he says, once a week? I got a girlfriend. We're having sex like 3 times a day. And I said, yeah, add up how much sex you've had this year because you're probably going to lose interest in this girlfriend after about 3 weeks. And he did. Because when you have that much sex, your testosterone levels go so low. Now, why am I saying this? See, I wrote a book called Mars, Venus, in the Bedroom, which every guy should read to learn how to have long-lasting sex. But one thing I didn't put in there that I would put, one of the things I'd put in now, because I wrote that over 20 years ago, I didn't have the research to back it up. I had the knowledge, I applied the knowledge in my own life, but I didn't have the research to back it up. Now we have proven studies that show a young man in his 20s, 25 years old, that's like when you got theoretically the most testosterone, right? What they tested men, and they said that if they had sex on Saturday night, after sex on Saturday night, and all of them, their testosterone levels go down 50%. That's why you have a tradition of men having usually date night is Saturday night, you get laid, and Sunday you sit back. Sunday you sit back and you watch TV, you watch the sports. You're passive, you don't have the energy. Or in other cases, before TV, you'd go to church, you'd sit there, fall asleep, or sing songs, read books. But the high intensity of sex causes a low intensity the next day. So you had sex on Saturday night, your testosterone went way up to have sex. Then on Sunday, it's cut 50%. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way during that time, there's a recovery time where testosterone slowly comes up about 10%. If you don't ejaculate, then your testosterone levels on Saturday will double. You'll be Superman again. You'll be stud man because you didn't ejaculate for 6 days. Now, for guys late 30s, it might be not ejaculating for 8 days or 9 days. Up in the 40s, you might have to wait, a couple of weeks. I don't know. We don't have a lot of research on that. The Taoists from ancient 5,000 years ago would talk about how you need more time as you get older to recover. But what happens is if you actually make love with your wife and someone you love and care about more than anybody else in your life, that means there's a lot of estrogen gets produced, and you ejaculate at that time, your body will make a hormone called prolactin. And prolactin prevents you from being addicted to sex for 6 days. It also prevents you from looking and desiring another woman for 6 days. And this is built into our biology, that if a woman loves you, she picks you to have a baby with. We don't really pick them, it's women who pick us. So they pick us to be that we search around, try to win women, so to speak. If we're talking about the monkey brain, we pursue. But then the woman will pick the best male that she can get. So she's already approved you, basically, if you have sex with her. And so now the evolutionary forces are such that here's a woman that loves you as a man that will keep your testosterone up, make you a good father. And then you have sex with her, another hormone gets produced called prolactin that keeps you not wanting to go off and find another woman. If you're a single guy and you masturbate, your testosterone levels go down, but you don't have prolactin. So you want to masturbate again and again and again and again, because masturbation produces a brain chemical called dopamine, which is very much like taking cocaine. And so it's addictive. And the only way you break that addiction is sex once a week with somebody that you love. Otherwise, no sex. So what do you do if you want to be Superman in life, achieve your goals, have it so you don't take things personally? Because see, every time you take things personally and get upset, I'm not saying I don't get upset sometimes, but if I do, I don't talk about it. You see, what I do is I go and do something to increase my testosterone, and then that's not a problem. You only take things personally, get upset about it, get your feelings hurt, get angry, feel sad, feel passive, feel irritable. All that stuff, man, is high estrogen, low testosterone. So when you're caught in that place, you have to access your willpower. I mean, you got to toughen up here, just like if you go to a gym. That's why going and talking to a coach every week is good. When you have relationship coaches, they're out there and they're wonderful. Because they hold you to it. It's like if nobody knows, like, for example, you could have a masturbation coach if you're addicted to masturbation, and you have to be completely honest. So every week you tell him how many times you masturbate, and he says, okay, well, what do you want to do this week? I want to go off of it. That's all. You just have to be seen, because it's very, very hard to change a habit if nobody watches you do it. It's like tell parents not to yell at their kids, and they cannot yell at their kids if other people are around. But if nobody's around, they're going to yell at their kids. It's amazing what we do. We lose when there's no observer, when we're not being seen. We have very little control over the conditioned brain. We just tend to be like ping pong balls. We tend to be like the ball in a pinball machine. That's what I was seeing today. I remember playing pinball, just boom, 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 boom. And that's what couples get into. They argue. One person complains, the other one complains, they complain back. This just doesn't work. So this is what people do. This is 99.99% of the population. So don't feel like, somebody listening to me feels like, boy, am I stupid. No, this is not having another alternative. But once you understand the hormones, you have an alternative. You can realize that whatever you feel when you're having a negative emotion, if you're a man, whatever you feel and think is true is not true. except one thought, that my feelings are fake news. And if women could get that, all their negative feelings are fake news. You're telling your body something that's not true. So one of the things I mentioned that what men have to learn is little things make a big difference. Otherwise, men feel like nothing I do can make her happy. Do you hear all that noise in the background?
Oh, I did just hear a sound. One thing I wanted to ask about is that, so we've kind of talked a lot about from the men's perspective in regards to a woman, but I mean, what would be the kind of advice that you would, I guess, give a woman, let's say that's 25 to early 30s? What would be the kind of advice that you would give someone like that let's say has also, been in some relationships but nothing too serious? What kind of advice would you give a person like that in order to, find a man, so to speak, and to keep the man?
Okay, well, first of all, don't have so much sex with him, and don't have sex right away. You have sex right away before you've bonded in your mind or in your heart. He'll lose interest in you. You have to be able to speak your mind. See, there's three types of primary intimacy. One is your mind. Another is your feelings. Another is your body. So sex is physical intimacy. Sharing your feelings is emotional intimacy. And sharing your mind is mental intimacy. So what a woman has to understand is, can she share everything she thinks with a guy and have him still be turned on to her? You see, women tend to be people pleasers and edit themselves in order to get a guy to like them. And that's just setting yourself up to have a guy not like you, because, of course, he likes you if you want to have sex with him. That's a given. You see, when a woman wants to have sex with a guy, she's giving his monkey brain the message that he's earned it, and that you want him that he's like a hero to you. But actually, he's not a hero to you till you can feel both, till you can feel mental intimacy, then emotional intimacy, then physical intimacy. Guys, we have a requirement for a long-lasting relationship. We have to start out with some physical attraction, but then you have to be able to hear her feelings and still feel physical attraction. And then you have to hear her thoughts and still feel physical attraction. And if you can have all that, then you can have sex with her and not feel less attraction afterwards. You see, how many times as guys did you have a one-night stand? You don't even want to talk to that girl again. You don't even want to see her again. But yet when you were with her, it was like fantastic. I remember one time being with a girl and I was thinking, I was horny. And I had sex with a girl and I looked in her face and I thought, oh, God, her face is beautiful. She's like perfect. See, I don't even know this girl. See, this is a fantasy. She's perfect. Then after I ejaculated with her, and she pretended to come, I'm sure it wasn't real, but I thought it was, doesn't matter. Afterwards, she was like disgusting to me. It was like suddenly I saw all these flaws in her. And there's a saying, I saw a cartoon that talks about this, because it's a pretty common phenomena. And the cartoon was the woman asked, is it really true that a man will like you less if you have sex with him right away? And the man says, well, what I know to be true is I like myself more. Because see, to us, it's like, look, I scored. That means I'm like a super stud. But see, women, for the feel genuine attraction, they need to feel inside their body that this man has something that I can depend on. This man is like a hero to me. And this is whether she thinks that or not. I'm talking about what her body thinks. Her body thinks, with him, I'm safe. And the biology of this has been proven. When a woman feels I'm safe and I can depend on someone, we know her estrogen levels will shoot up. Okay, then we also know that when another studies show that when women's estrogen levels shoot up, it will produce a pheromone that causes men to be attracted to her. And if a man she's present with a man who is naturally producing higher testosterone levels, he will produce a pheromone that will cause her estrogen levels to go up, which is why there's the old saying that women are attracted to power. A lot of women say they're not, but they don't know their body. That just we're talking biology here. Female biology is dependent upon a man having high testosterone and or her thinking. There's two things here. One is he actually has high testosterone. He's putting out pheromones. And another one is a conditioned response inside of her of what her mind says. Oh, he must have high testosterone. Let me give an example of that. Let's say she meets a man and he has high testosterone and he happens to drive a Ferrari, okay? And he has high testosterone. Her brain will associate a man who drives a Ferrari with high testosterone. So she'll see a guy with driving a Ferrari and get turned on, assuming that he does have high testosterone, and he may not. And in many cases, he doesn't. A lot of men compensate for their low testosterone by having Ferraris. That's kind of a common thing. What are you compensating for? But there is a reality that it takes money to buy a Ferrari, and a man with money means a woman theoretically doesn't have to work so hard to make money, and therefore she appreciates a man who makes money. Now, if we're talking to the 25-year-old woman who's been now exposed to feminism and may have had a more feminist mother who complained that men make more money than me, then you see a man with more money, you don't get turned on to him because you get mad at him. Yeah, he made more money because women couldn't make as much. So it's a no-win situation. We're in such a confusing place here. And then so when women don't feel they can when women feel, oh, I don't need a man, I don't depend on a man, then they become more independent. And when women become more independent, they make more male hormones, male energy, less female energy. So then she's not attracted to men, okay, unless that man has more testosterone than her. So I talk to women a lot who are busy working all the time, and they say, the guys I want, they're just not strong enough, they're not powerful enough, because she's looking for a man who have more testosterone than her, which will make her feel more feminine, and then she can feel attracted to him. And what she has to learn to do is don't look for a man to make you feel more feminine. That's your job. And anytime you're unhappy with a man, it's because you're looking to him on some level to make you feel safe and make you feel good and nurture your needs. And that means you're looking to him to make you happy, and that's not his job. His job is only to make you happier. So you need to connect more with your feelings, speak your mind more openly. But here's the catch. You see, everything I say can be misinterpreted, and it often is misinterpreted by people who don't take the commitment to learn what I'm saying. To express your mind means to create intimacy, is to share your thoughts and feelings which don't involve trying to change him or make him wrong or argue with him. So you'll see a lot of women who speak their mind and wonder why a man doesn't come back. Well, the big part of it is that when she spoke her mind, she argued with him. She tried to make him wrong. You can have a conversation with different points of view without getting mad at each other. But that's not happening today. And you see it in the political scene as well. There's so much polarization here of people not being okay to integrate another point of view. We get so mad at another point of view. Many people hate people who voted for their candidate or didn't vote for their candidate. They hate each other. They're mad at each other. They're violent with each other. They're out of control with each other. Why is this happening? The world didn't used to be this way. People could not like you, but that's different from hating you. This is the outcome of what's happening in the world. Is this role reversal, which I'm talking about, which is men being on their female side too much and women being too much on their male side. So if a woman is too much on her male side, let's analyze that for a moment. There's nothing wrong with her being on her male side if she also is connected to her female side, okay? If you're on your male side and you're a woman, you're a CEO in a company, let's say she's very successful, she's powerful, or she just has a regular job, whatever it might be. But let's just take the more extreme case of, she's running a company, or she's a surgeon These are all dangerous jobs that require a lot of decisions. Anytime you make a decision, you're in a dangerous situation. You're in a I could fail or I could succeed place. So that's a stress, right? So anytime you're making a decision, you're on your male energy. And if you're enjoying making decisions and you're enjoying your hard work and you like it, then enjoying it and liking it means you're on your male and female side at the same time, particularly if you love it. So you're doing hard work, but you have no complaints. As soon as you have complaints, now basically your female side is feeling left out. It's not being supported if you're unhappy. So you can, by the way, make a complaint without being unhappy. But generally, when people are unhappy, that's a sign their female side is not getting what it needs. So women can be on their male side, no problem, male energy, as long as they also are nurturing their female energy. But a lot of women don't nurture their female energy. They don't even know what it feels like to be feminine. They don't even know what it feels like to surrender to a man and allow him to give you an orgasm, to open your heart to him, to fall in love with him. See, that's real feminine energy, opening your heart to somebody. And that's a big risk, because if you open your heart, they can stab you. One comment can, or interpreting one comment is like the fake news. What is fake news for a moment when it comes to relationships? That's why I wrote Men Are From Mars. When a man goes to his cave, when you're dating, a man goes back to his apartment, he needs that time apart to rebuild his testosterone. He needs time together with her in order to experience his testosterone along with estrogen. I mean, think about what sex is for men. He's going into a woman. Woman's not going into a man. He's going into her, and she's letting someone come into her. But that way she experiences her male and female sides simultaneously. He goes into her with a hard erection. He's on his male side, softening connection through love and touch. So you've got both those hormones together at very high levels. You have ecstasy, you have flow, you have our human potential, you have lasting passion in a relationship if it can nurture that. So women today, a lot of women, they feel like going on their female side and depending on a man for something, needing him, is weakness. And therefore, she's just going to stay stuck on her male side, rejecting her physiology, which requires estrogen. And it's that self-rejection, in Freudian terms, would cause projection. Okay, self-rejection causes projection, maybe too technical psychological stuff. But projection is, let's say, I'm a selfish person and I don't want to admit it. Then I'll see everybody else, oh, you're so selfish. Oh, you're so selfish. You're so selfish. That's called projection. We project what we're not willing to look at within ourselves, on our partners, on others. So what happens in relationships is when we reject ourselves, we tend to be rejecting of other people that don't agree with us. When we're really not agreeing with ourselves, when we're at war with ourselves. And we are at war with ourselves. That's the way I see it. And that war has gotten even farther when you've got males thinking they're females and females thinking they're males. That's what's happening today. It's grown so far of self-rejection, because the mind, the brain, is rejecting the body. The brain, which rejects the body, identity, is self-awareness. That's a very advanced part of the brain. But the body, this has taken millions of years of evolution. It's like fish, and it's like snakes, and it's like monkeys. It's all in us. We were like that in the womb, evolving through that. But what happens when the mother is exposed to pesticides in the womb, a boy tends to develop more of a girl's brain, and a girl tends to develop more of a boy's brain. So a lot of people are coming into the world so confused. Their body needs certain types of support to feel good, but the brain is saying just the opposite. And this is just becoming stronger and stronger. I saw it back in the 80s as it was starting to happen, as Monsanto started doing the GMOs. What happened back then is that we know now that when food that has pesticides is eaten, the the pesticides are still in the food. This particular powerful pesticide called Monsanto's pesticide, GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So these genetically modified organisms, they're foreign to the body, but the body thinks that it's estrogen. So when estrogen lands, these are called xenoestrogens because they're outside the body, not generated by the body. When these estrogens come in, they bind with estrogen receptors in the body of a male and a female. When it hits a woman's body, it gives her brain the message that she has plenty of estrogen, so she doesn't need anybody. And so she becomes more independent than she really is. Then there's the male body. When the estrogen receptors are flooded, we don't have as many, but when they're being flooded by toxins, they send a message to the brain that you have too much estrogen, so don't make testosterone or somebody will kill you. Because it's a fight or flight response. Your estrogen goes higher when you're in fight or flight, when you're in danger. So at those times, you want to accept that you're a beta male, that you should surrender, that you should bow to the stronger man. So your testosterone levels, your balls are literally cut off. So this is what's happening. Many boys are not even having both their balls drop. They're getting their pubic hairs and their sex drive later, 13 or 14, maybe 15 years old, and they have more of a female brain. But by following my instructions on how to have relationships, the brain has plasticity, and they can come back to having a male brain to go with their male hormones rather than thinking they're a woman, or are being attracted to men rather than being attracted to women. See, it's when if you're a male and you think you're a female, you're producing female hormones, you're going to be attracted to males, even though you're a male. So, then there's the question of homosexuality. Is it really a choice? Well, if you don't know how to change your brain, it's not a choice. But if you learn how to change your brain, you actually can choose to line up your brain with your biology and experience a lot more peace of mind and lasting passion. We know in heterosexual relationships, passion doesn't last because couples go into role reversal, where men become more passive and women become more dissatisfied and overwhelmed. That is, she's more on her male side, feeling I can't trust him to do more. He's more on she's more on her male side. He's more on his female side, sort of losing his motivation he had in the beginning, and he's no longer attracted to her. And he gets off masturbating to porn. These are really common things that are happening today. But the same thing's happening in the gay community. Gay couples to women, they're not attracted to men because they're both on their male side, so they're attracted to women. Male is attracted to female, and female is attracted to male. So if you're a woman and you think you're a man, you're going to be attracted to another woman because of your brain. And you can change the wiring in your brain if you have this new technology. And it's not based upon you're a bad person. It's just that you have a conflict going on inside of you, and your passion will go away. And that does happen. It's called dead bed. It happens quite often with lesbians. And with gay couples, they lose sexual interest in each other quite commonly, very quickly. And so they're very open in many cases. In my experience and in literature I've read and talking to my gay friends, that usually one of them is more like not that interested in having affairs, but the other one is extremely active having affairs, just because he can't sustain an attraction to his partner. They tend to be more okay with that because they understand the male brain and that men can have sex without any attachment to the other person, whereas the female brain tends to think that you should feel love before you open up sexually, and it's right. You should feel love before you open up sexually. So you need to have conversations, women. That's just back to your question, what can the younger woman do? And my suggestion is don't think about finding the perfect person. If you happen to, that's great. Create a series of positive dating experiences, which will create a sense of what you like and what you don't like. As your brain matures to about age 28, your brain hasn't yet reached a certain level of self-reflection so that you're able to choose. You don't really have much choice. You're just a pinball going back and forth based upon conditioning. But it grows. That ability to choose increases from age 21 to age 28. And this is, we can see in science, says that the brain doesn't fully mature till 28. And you'll see that statistically tends to go along with what I'm saying, because the highest rate of divorce is couples who get married early in their 20s, and they get divorced around 28. 28 is a big life change for people and has a lot to do with the full development of the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Now, that's not guaranteed that everybody has a fully developed brain. You need to exercise your potential to develop your brain fully. Some people never make it beyond puberty. They're not able to incorporate another point of view. Plato talked about this, and I've witnessed it as well. I've talked to teachers who, like 8th grade, I think we're talking around 7th, 8th grade, where they start teaching. They go from concrete math to abstract math, and that is abstract math is like geometry, it's equations, it's algebra. Algebra and geometry help to develop, if you practice those things, help to develop the abstract brain. Otherwise, everything's right or wrong, instead of everything is shades of what works and what doesn't work. And that's the development of this brain that can reflect on yourself without saying I'm bad or I'm wrong. It can say what I did didn't work, and now I can choose something else. If what I did makes me bad, then I should be punished. That's the way the monkey brain operates. If what I did was wrong, then I should not be trusted, as opposed to when I reflect on myself being a realized person. I've fully developed prefrontal cortex of the brain and other parts of the brain, which I know continue to develop, although we just don't have a lot of research on that. But recently I made a mistake and lost a lot of money in the stock market. It took me a day to come back to recover, and then 2 days to recover all the money I lost. But I made myself wrong, but I knew how to process those feelings. Okay, I learned an important lesson. What I did doesn't work, and now I'll try something else, and I have many opportunities to make it work. So it's like learning to have emotional intelligence. That's a big part of this as well. But if you don't have gender intelligence, it sabotages all emotional intelligence. Let me give you an example of some emotional intelligence. If I'm upset about something with emotional intelligence, I'm able to reflect on my emotions and go deeper into them and let them go. And then at a certain point in more advanced development, I'm able to look at my negative emotions, go deeper into them, and realize that they come from something in my past, and they're not about right now at all. You see, right now in present time, anything that's upsetting you is not about what happened just now. It's always about something that happened in the past, based on something else that happened on the past. It's a simple concept, but not so easy to apply for people in the beginning. Let me give you an example. If one bad thing happens today, let's call that a 10-degree upset. But let's say 10 things happen. On the 10th thing that happens, it's no longer a 10-degree upset. It's a 100-degree upset. It's accumulation. And that's what happens. If you were criticized and rejected for many, many years as a child, then later in life, someone just says, hey, that was stupid. You go, what? How could you say that about me? I can't believe you would say that to me. What? You reject me? You see, we are overreacting all the time. And when it starts to taper off, if you work on yourself from 21 to 28, to not take things so personally, until you don't take anything personally that's negative, and you take everything that's personal, that's positive. Wouldn't that be a great way to live? Well, you can have that, but you have to learn. You have to learn how to process your feelings.
One quick thing I want to ask about too was, just this idea of income imbalance between husbands and wives. I mean, from the research that you've seen and read and you've produced, I mean, is there a correlation between when the wife makes more money and the relationship being bad or getting worse than if it's vice versa? If the male... Oh, sorry.
Let's put it this way. If a guy's out of work, it's going to challenge the relationship tremendously. And if a woman is making money and a guy's out of work, it challenges it even more. And what I experience over and over is complaining women that their husbands don't make any money, even though they chose to marry a guy who doesn't make any money. Here's how it works. In the beginning of a relationship, a woman, often couples, well, there's two dynamics here. One is for women, working in the business world is work. Okay, it's about serving others and not yourself. You have to put your needs behind you and focus on other people's needs. There's no room to say, hey, you're not treating me well to a client. I mean, you can choose not to have that client, but you're about adapting to them. The customer's always right is a good system that was developed in the business world. We're not about us, we're about serving. Okay, don't take it extremely that way, but that's what the work world is. An intimate relationship is about you. It's about two people saying, I'm here to support you and you're here to support me. So it's a completely different dynamic. Now, so women, when they get over to their male side, make more money. Oh, just like any guy feels. Oh, wow, I love it. I love making money. This is wonderful. But the difference between men and women is I work a job. I work hard. You know, I got behind me 28 books that I've written. It's not a piece of cake to write a book. Okay, writing a book is a huge sacrifice for me. I can't spend as much time with my wife and children because of it. So 4 weeks that I write a book. And I have it there. And I'm exhausted at the end. I'm like a dead man. And I remember one day I was just finishing a book and I came up and it was one of those really long days. Hadn't shaved in a while. My hair was oily, hadn't even bathed. Totally into finishing this book. And my wife was so sweet. She saw me. I looked at her and she said, so cute. Changed the Canucks for having typed for that long. And then she said, this is so sweet. She said, I'm so glad I don't have your job. Now that was because she was basically saying, you're my hero. You're doing a job that I don't have to do because I wouldn't want to do that. That made, for a woman, we turn it around, my wife was just a job. And I was just happy at home with the kids, making dinner, and really grateful for the money my partner makes. Partner's home, and it's a woman, and she's burnt out. And I say to her, well, honey, thank you so much. I'm so glad I don't have to do all that hard work that you do. She's not going to feel that's the most loving thing I could say. She actually might get angry and say, yeah, you get all the good time. I don't. This is a reality. It's different when women make money. Now, if she happens to just love her job, which most women don't. They don't work. Little Jimmy, he walked the first time. We went to the park, and that new nanny that we got. Oh my gosh, she's wonderful. I could go play golf with my friends, and I came home. I even played this new video game. It's amazing how much fun it is. What is her reaction going to be to him? Her reaction is, yeah, I do all the hard work, you have all the fun. This isn't fair. So women who tend to make more money than men resent their husbands after a while. Often they'll say, I just don't respect him, I'm not attracted to him. But inside, when I explore the feelings, they resent that he gets to have a good time and she doesn't. She's doing all the hard work and he gets the easy stuff. See, the difference is, as a man, if you're doing the hard work and your wife is grateful to you and does the easy stuff and loves you because you're doing the hard stuff she doesn't have to do, you're happy as can be. You're willing to die for her if it makes her happy. That's what men are. It's not like we're superior to women. It's just that's the way we're designed. We're designed, when you sacrifice for a noble cause, testosterone goes up and your stress levels go down. When somebody sacrifices for you, that's a woman, she's saying, he's sacrificing for me. She feels loved, supported, and her happiness goes up. So yes, role reversal is destroying relationships. They're not having sex. That's what I know to be the case. Some stay together as a practical thing because we have children. We don't want to create a divorce. We'll stay together, but they don't have passion. Now, can you have passion if she makes more money than him? Yes, but you have to learn a whole new set of skills. And it's not always guaranteed because she might be in the wrong job for her. But if she's making more money, she's going to experience the stress of being on her male side and not her female side. Because anytime you're making money, you're using male energy. Making money is giving of yourself to get something back. Female energy is you receive so much that you give back. You're not expecting to return. Real love from a woman is, I'm giving you love, not so you'll love me. I'm giving you love because it's my natural reaction to what you give me. So that's giving without strings. That only happens if you've just received a bundle. I can give freely to some people simply because I have so much. So that's the idea here. But the flip side of that, male energy thrives when I sacrifice to produce an outcome, a noble outcome, which rewards me. I get the reward. What is the reward when you work hard at a job? A woman is happy to have sex with you, enjoys sex with you. That's the reward for the primitive brain. For the emotional brain, you come home and your wife loves you. She doesn't complain about you. She appreciates you. On the mental level, your wife is honest with you. She shares what she thinks, but never argues with you about what you think. And you make happy compromises together because you both feel so loved and supported. It's amazing how flexible men become if they're getting laid regularly. And it's amazing how flexible women become in terms of compromise if they're getting laid regularly. Sex, love, conversation, communication, not trying to change somebody, suddenly it's very easy to make relationships work. So this couple where she makes more money, she's producing male energy during the day, they have to have a relationship that supports both when she comes home, he has to be able to come back to his male side and provide something that her female side needs desperately that she doesn't know. What she needs is to become vulnerable, to become feminine. And how can she become feminine? It means he has to have romantic skills. He has to have conversation skills that prioritize her opening up and sharing what she's feeling. And that is very hard to do. He can't do it alone. Unless a woman is trained how to be vulnerable, she won't be vulnerable, particularly the women who are more on their male side. They just don't know how to be feminine. And he doesn't know how to help her be feminine. He can be feminine himself, but he can't make her feminine. That's a job she has to learn to do, but he has to not get in the way. So an example of that would be like the game I told you, the genie in a bottle. That'd be so good for them, where she gets to feel powerless and allows him to do her. I know some women who are like way on their male side. They watch porn where men are dominant on women. You know, there's some porn sites where there'll be like 10 guys gang banging a woman. Well, these women who are way on their male side, they watch that kind of porn. They need to feel emotionally vulnerable, but they're afraid to feel emotional vulnerable in reality, so they have a fantasy. So because they do that porn doesn't mean they actually want that to happen. What they want is the feelings in their fantasy of them being able to surrender and go out of their minds, literally go out of her mind, because women are so trapped in their mind, but love starts to free them, and then loving sex can actually help them go out of their mind. And the French call a woman's orgasm a little death. Going out of your mind is freedom. It's what I do when I meditate. I transcend my mind. I go into a no-thought state. I've been meditating 50 years. Now that's a great place for a man to go. That's how a man can rebuild his testosterone, but it has the opposite effect when it's achieved through sex for a woman. She's literally able to experience a freedom to depend on someone and not have to depend on herself for a short period of time. You know, you don't have to be in that place all the time, but you find it again and again.
Dr. Gray, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of really, as some would say, that's a lot of meat in what you just said. And yeah, I mean, I just felt like, you know, especially at the beginning of this whole, you know, lockdown and whatnot, the quarantine back in March, yeah, there's this perception, if guys and their wives, or, guys and their girlfriends, if they're living together, if they were locked inside, they, weren't going to be able to keep their hands off of each other. And, yeah, it's probably what you're saying too, the idea that men being so locked up inside so much, maybe so many guys, if they lost their jobs and whatnot, they're not actually going out there and they're not rebuilding, like where you're saying, like the masculine energy. They're just kind of, passively maybe kind of working from home, and they're kind of playing video games while they're, supposed to be working, and they're just vegging out and doing this and that. And
throw in that they're also masturbating.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's very common. It's very common. All these things lower testosterone. Here's a simple thing men can do. If you're stuck at home, just real quick, you're stuck at home, what you can do is, if you start ever getting upset with your partner, get away from her. Tell her, look, I need some space. I love you, but it's my own stuff. I need to take time. Go out and drive your car. That's one thing. Driving your car actually produces testosterone. 2, go to the gym. and have somebody take turns with a friend who acts as a trainer for you, or hire a trainer so that somebody is watching you while you do your reps and so forth. Otherwise, you'll cheat and take the easy road. So you want to set your goals, achieve goals. Do things mindfully that cause you to have to use willpower. Anything that's uncomfortable for you to do, notice what they might be. Maybe if you're alone in your apartment, it's basically you need to clean it up. Maybe whatever you're procrastinating at this time, things that you've been procrastinating willfully, like you have an addiction to passiveness, go after that. But underlying all of that, this is a time for celibacy with yourself. That means no masturbation, because that will always lower your testosterone, create an addiction. Eating junk food, in order for me to maintain my testosterone and my strength, I also limit myself in my diet. I only have a 2-hour window to eat. A lot of people say it's very good to do an 8-hour window, and that's pretty tough for some people. But for a guy to have an 8-hour window where he eats and nothing beyond that is an act of discipline. Also, reading books as opposed to watching TV is a major testosterone rebuilder. If it's boring, find a little bit more exciting books to read. But reading is also really good. So you're not just going to your cocaine, which is passively watching TV. I mean, there's some great shows on right now, without a doubt. And I watch TV. I just don't let it dominate my whole time when I'm home alone. I need to have my work. Fortunately, I still have my work. I'm doing it right now. I have my discipline when it comes to eating. I have my discipline when it comes to exercising. I have my discipline when it comes to meditating. Not all men have the ability, have a really great practice. For me, after 50 years of practice of meditation, nothing can upset me. Anything that even gets close to upsetting me, I can go into out of my mind state, and my testosterone levels rebuild. So it's not that for women, if they go out of their mind, their testosterone rebuilds. It's their hormones go into balance. For me, a man, hormones going into balance means that my testosterone comes back up. So meditation is a really great thing. Listening to music is better than watching TV, but do some physical activity while you're doing it, or meditate while you're doing it. These are really powerful testosterone stimulators. And anytime during a stressful situation, man or woman, where we're not different, is learn something new. If you're learning something that's interesting to you, that could be productive in your life, that will put blood flow to the front part of your brain and reduce your stress levels and free you from your, these addictive tendencies to go too far to your passive side if you're a man. Now, the biology of this is such by disciplining your diet is good. Also, I recommend for men some supplements to take that helps, supplements for women at this time as well. The number one is just simply minerals that have zinc in them. What you don't know is that every time you ejaculate, you're losing zinc, and zinc's necessary to make testosterone. But there's certain forms of zinc that work better than others, and I have a mineral product with zinc, higher zinc for men, less zinc for women, but more magnesium for women. It also has lithium in it. Lithium prevents you from having the high dopamine addiction, but it's in a therapeutic dose. It's very different from psychiatrists. It has no side effects. It's fantastic, and it's not a drug at all. It has no negative side effects because of the dosage and the form. It's called lithium orotate, calcium orotate, magnesium orotate, potassium orotate. These are particular kinds of minerals that cross the blood-brain barrier and help your brain function better. So that helps. I've been doubling up on that. Also, I'm concerned about getting a virus. I'm almost 70. I'm concerned about catching a cold, basically, is the way I look at it. It's more contagious. And what's happening is, this hydrochloroquine has been shown in France to work completely, but you can't get it here. I mean, it's something that we could always get in the past. I used to get it when I go to Africa to protect against the diseases that were there, and it's not a big deal. But you can't get it because it is effective, and somehow they're making it wrong. Meanwhile, what hydrochloroquine does, it allows for zinc uptake. Now, zinc is what protects your body from virus replicating itself. And zinc is really, really good to take. But you may have to make sure your body absorbs it. And you're losing so much zinc anyway if you're ejaculating. You need to take it, and then you have to find a way to absorb it. And one of the ways to absorb it, people who get sick just don't know how to absorb their zinc. It's a natural supplement supplement, which is called quercetin. Quercetin is a natural, it comes from apples, and it has the effect of helping your body absorb zinc. So it'd be good to take super minerals and quercetin with vitamin C. And these are products that I sell at my website. I sell like 30 different products at my website. It's a health food store of things that I think are really useful for relationship skills. Like libido, better sleep, lower stress, more energy, hormone balance. There's herbs from thousands of years ago that people have understood to help us at times of stress. And we're living in a world of stress right now. So these are things that can actually help as well. Another substance that helps you absorb zinc is EEGE. It's a substance that's in green tea. So you could, just be taking zinc and drinking lots of green tea would be another option. I do both. I have a green tea drink called Chawa that helps give you energy all the time. It's 12 different adaptogens. So these are things people can check out my little videos at marsvenus.com to help you rebuild your testosterone levels. And you'll see how to rebuild testosterone naturally. But taking a supplement to do these things is worthless if you keep doing the behaviors that make it worse.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's like taking diet pills, but then, after you take them, you go on a ice cream binge
That's
session.
right.
So.
You feel like, okay, now the pill's going to do it for me, so I'll just do it. Thank you for that. Well, listen, hey, it's been
all right, Dr. Gray. Well, definitely, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking again sometime.
Okay, I'll look forward to it as well. You bet.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.